So today I'm going to make this random number generator. It's also set up so it looks like a dice, random numbers between 1 and 6. The kit I've taken out of the bag is from Banggood. It's got various components here, and as usual the resistors aren't labelled up, unfortunately. And for someone who's colourblind like me, I have great difficulty reading what the values are. So I've got my handy little tester here, and I've already put a resistor in, and we can quickly test that. Okay, and there's the value there. We can match that up with the values that's printed on the circuit board here as well. So one other thing we need to have a quick look at is the ICs as well, which are here. We've got a couple of mountings for them as well, and one of them is a usual 555 timer. When I took them out of the bag, the legs were a bit bent, so I've got my little tool here to straighten them out. You simply just pop them in and just squeeze it together, and that will straighten up all the legs for you. So we'll do that on all of them. If you can see that, I'll just hold that up a bit closer to here. You can see all the legs are way out, so we'll just pop those in there if we can. There we go, and see if we can straighten those up. Okay, it's getting better. And there we are, nice and straight. Okay, do that on this one as well. And finally this one here. Okay, right, let's start soldering some of these in place then, shall we? So we're going to start with a couple of resistors. There we go. So my OCD is not working tonight, so notice that those resistors are colour banded opposite ways, but never mind. Let's see if we can get all these straight. There we go. Okay, we'll just do 2 more on this side of the board. Okay, there we go. So we're all in now, all in place. So what we'll do is we'll flip the board over, and we'll just pull the legs out a bit so holds the components in place while we solder them. There we go. Great. Okay, so let's get the soldering done then. Let's make sure the nib's nice and clean. Yep, it's looking good. Just make sure that the soldering iron nib is kept nice and clean. Okay, great stuff. That's got all those soldered, so let's just chop off the legs now. I seem to have picked up my blunt ones. Let's get the sharper ones out. Here we go. That's better. Okay, so let's got those chopped off, and they're all nice in line, and we'll crack on with the next ones. Right, we've got two more 10k resistors to put in. One of them is here at the side. Check goes up here. And the other one is over to the left hand side. Right, I've just moved the circuit board slightly so it's easier for you to see. So again, I'm just going to bend the pins out either side, and my resistor's just fallen out, so let's just put that back in again. There, that's better. Let's move the legs out slightly, there we go. And we'll get ready to solder. Okay, and using my sharp pair of clippers, we'll just nip those off. Done it again. There we go, my sharp pair of clippers. Okay, here we go. Okay, next couple of resistors going in. Again, I've tested these all beforehand. Okay, just twist it over and just pull those legs apart slightly. Just very slightly, nothing you have to bend them a lot, just very slightly just to hold them in place. Just clean the tip off a little bit. Okay, here we go, let's got those done. Snip off the ends. That one doesn't look very good, so let's just reheat that one just there. That's better. Oh, okay, so there you go, that resistor's decided to move, so we'll come back to that later. I'll get me desoldering gun out later and we'll just redo that one. Next thing I'm going to do is put the 3 transistors in here. Just be careful because these are 8050s and the ones here and here are 8550s. So you might just have to look under the microscope or magnifying glass just to get them right. So what we're going to do is I shall solder one to show you, and then I shall do the others speeded up so you're not wasting your time. But we'll just pop that in there, look, like that. That should hold quite nicely. Notice the pattern that's been printed on the circuit board here with a flat is to the bottom on the picture, and that's exactly what I've done there. So I'll get the soldering iron out and we'll just solder those up in place. Okay, just shut the legs off. I've noticed there's a couple of legs here that just didn't cut quite right before, so let's nibble those off as well. Make it easier for ourselves. There we go. And then we'll do the other two. Okay, so next one we'll do then is a couple more resistors. So let's just get those in place. Just bend the legs a little bit more. There we go. There we go, just pull it down, pull the legs out slightly just to hold it in place. There we go. And the next one goes in. Again, just pulling the legs very slightly out just to hold it in place. And we'll get the soldering iron, clean the tip, make sure it's nice and clean, and off we go. Snip the legs off. Next thing we'll do is a couple of capacitors. Now this one's not marked plus or minus, so we can put that one straight on here, which is C2. Slide that into place there. Just hold it with my thumb and I just pull those legs slightly apart. And we can just quickly solder that in place. Now the other capacitor is marked plus or minus, with the minus being the short leg and the plus being the long leg is also marked on the capacitor itself just there. So long leg goes in first. Great, that's that one done. Okay, now we've got a couple of more transistors, and again, just to say again, don't forget that these two are different to these three. Keeping in mind that the pattern on the circuit board matches the actual component going on. And finally the other one, I'll just pull these legs out very slightly. And put that in place there. There we go. Okay, so we've got one more resistor by the looks of things to do, which is this one down here. Let's just bend those legs a bit tighter. Notice I keep cleaning the soldering iron end. It's best to keep it as clean as possible. Okay, and there we go. Right, next we shall do the switch, which it goes here. There's no markers as to which way around the switch goes, so we'll just put that in place. Nope, not quite got it. There we go, let's put it in place. And obviously these legs are sprung loaded, so they hold the switch nicely in place as we solder it. Again, I'm just going to clean the nib of the soldering iron, make sure it's nice and clean. There we go. No need to chop these legs off, but I've got a bit of a, just look at that, I've got solder just hanging off there, so we'll just nibble that off, make it better. Great. So next thing is the IC holder. So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the legs. They look fairly straight to me. So again, we've got a slight pattern here. Look in the circuit board, the cutout there, which matches up to the cutout just there. So let's see if we get this on. Yep, slotted in nicely. All the pins are showing through, that's good. Now what we've got to do here is just to hold it into place, we'll just put a dab of solder on the opposite corners. So just to hold it into place while we can solder the rest of the legs. So a nice clean nib on my soldering iron, put a bit of solder on there. Just see if we can just drop it on there just to hold it in place. And the same again down here. Just see if we can get that. I'm just pushing it slightly with my finger behind, and then just, here we go, just hold it in place like that, that's fine. Just going to double check to make sure it's okay, which it is. And we can able to solder the other legs. Go there, just that one there. Look, if you look at that one there, and that one there hasn't quite soldered right. So let's see if we can just clean those up a bit. That's better. Great, so that's that one done. So I'm just going to pause the video while I move the circuit board because we need to get into that chip in the corner. Right, I've repositioned the circuit board on my clamp here, so I can go ahead and solder the IC here, which is the 555 timer. So let's see, get this on. Just double check the pins. Yep, they look nice and straight. Oops. Again, the chip holder has got a little cutout there, which matches with the one on the circuit board. Let's see if we can just drop this into place. There we go. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm just going to hold that with my finger and just drop a dab of solder in the corner just to hold it in place. There we go, and we'll do that again to the other opposite corner. There we go. So that's nicely held it in place. Just check to make sure it's straight. So let's just double check to make sure that was soldered okay. There we go. Great. So the next thing I'm going to do is the jumper now. The kit was supplied with one of these JST connectors. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use one of these pin connectors here. Just easier for me to be able to add cables onto it later. Again, I'm just going to hold that in place with my finger. I just dab a bit of solder just to hold it in place, like that. Oh, the square and round, I'll explain later which is plus and which is negative, or ground I should say. Okay, so that's them two in place now. So it looks like we've got all the components in place. Just noticed we've got one resistor down there that I've missed, so let's get that done next. There we go. Okay, solder that in place. Okay, so I think that's all the main components done now. Just need to come back to that resistor later. Great. So you now see that I've moved the circuit board round, so it'll be easier for us to solder the diodes in place. Just a quick mention about the diodes. As you can see on this diode here, this leg is longer than this leg. The longer leg is the anode, it is also the positive. And when we put it on the circuit board, the longer leg goes on the triangle side and the negative, or the ground, is the flat side. And that's how you put them in. So again, long leg in first on the triangle side, or the anode side. And I'll just put that in place like that. And we can solder those in place up there. So again, I'm just going to hold it with my thumb this side, and then just very gently just open the legs up slightly just to hold it in place. And we'll do the same for the rest of them. Again, longer leg goes to triangle side, so this is the opposite way around. Longer leg, triangle. And you can see it, I'm going to do these flat against the board. So I'm just going to hold the LED in my thumb, just push the legs out slightly to hold it in place. And there we go. So we can easily just solder those now. Again, just off camera, I'm going to clean the soldering iron. There we go. we go, that's absolutely fine. I can move my circuit board down slightly now, and there we go, hold that in place. Then we'll do the other ones. So long leg plus triangle side in. There we go. Again, these are not all the same way around. You're going to be very careful to make sure that you get the anode or the plus the right way around on the circuit board. Let's just hold those in place while we just open those legs up. And the last one. And they're ready for soldering. Great. Let's just shut the legs off. And there we go. That's those in. So the next thing we need to do is actually put the chips inside. Right, I'm going to do the little IC first, which is the timer. So just get those legs lined up. Again, making sure that the cutout here matches up to the cutout on the holder, which again matches up to the one on the circuit board. So get that all lined up and then push it to place. Just make sure we've got no bent pins, which we haven't. And then the main IC, we've got the slight cutout there, matches up with that one there. Can be a bit fiddly these, but push it into place like that. That's that in. Brilliant. Okay, now everything's done, everything's nicely soldered up. Let's see if we can put some power to it. So as I said before, there was a square and a round on the circuit board. The round one is a ground or a negative, and the square one's a positive. So let's connect that up to our battery. Just there we go, that's better. So positive. And the negative. Oh, negative. Okay, let's press the button, see what happens. Yep, random numbers 1. Let's do that again. Oop. That's me not holding the wires on properly. Let's do that again. Two. Five that time.